Oh my goodness, you guys, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the subscribes. Since my last video, I hit 500. I had no idea when I started these videos that the channel would grow so well. So thank you so much. If you're new, thank you for joining us. I wanted to announce a giveaway that I'm going to be doing in order to celebrate the 500 plus subscribers. So I don't quite have everything put together, all the little details and puzzle pieces to make the giveaway go off perfectly just yet, but I'm almost there. I almost have everything all organized to be able to let you all know how you'll be able to enter. It will be for the finished jellyfish from the first video I released that now has over 10,000 views. So in my next video, I plan to show you how I finish my resin tiles and get them ready for hanging. And so that should come out next week. And in that, I intend, fingers crossed, to have all the other aspects organized so that I can actually pull off a drawing for you guys. So make sure and subscribe and click that bell so that you'll be notified of the next video release. As for today's video, we are going to make this painting. This is a follow-up from my last video when I was still working with those high contrast blues. I did actually change one color though. In the last video, video number 6, I used a kind of a medium light metallic blue in with this. I switched that out because it was just pretty much disappearing from the painting anyway. And I brought in this super really light baby blue, almost white. And yeah, so the other colors were white that I already had mixed up, and phthalo blue, and the brilliant blue. Again, my paint mix is about equal parts of paint, water, and Floetrol. It does vary slightly because, as you know, paint consistencies vary slightly as well. And I like my consistency to be just a little thinner than honey. But I change that up a bit too, depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes you'll want it to be thicker and sometimes you will want it to be thinner. The most important thing, you guys, is to experiment and have fun with it. So let's get started. This painting, I started with a layer of the phthalo blue, and I'm torching it to get out the bubbles and just thicken it up slightly. In this painting, I use the metal rings again from the last painting. It's just a couple of smaller ones here. I believe this is a 12 by 12 inch tile. That was that baby blue. I'm gonna blow that around with the straw. And some phthalo blue. Some of the brilliant blue. Some white. I didn't do any silicone in this one. And the idea was for me to maintain more of the negative space this time, which is why I only did the little teeny metal rings there. I brought in my little plastic dotting wand and just kind of smeared some of that paint around. Thought it gave it a cool effect. Some more phthalo blue. And I'm figuring that I'm just not going to be able to get the effect that I got in the very first inspirational painting from video 6 that I was trying to copy. So I'm not sure what I'm going to get out of this one, so I'm just going to play with it. You see I took the torch a minute ago over there to it. Spreading the paint around that's already getting on the canvas. Bringing out the dotting tool again. And we'll just go ahead and release these. See what happens. So it's really funny as I'm looking at this, I'm going, wow, those kind of look like jellyfish. Maybe I could make these into some cool different kinds of jellyfish than the other ones I make. So I kind of started playing with trying to bring the tentacles down, and I'm looking at it going, yeah, this is probably just going to be too much work if I really wanted to make these look like more like jellyfish rather than sort of abstract blobs. So I'm like, I'll experiment with making jellyfish that way another time where I actually have that intent in mind. We're just going to go ahead and spread some paint around here and see what happens. As you can see, it doesn't really look like many of my cells are sticking around. So I'm not sure. And I didn't like using this, or I don't like using the silicone on tiles because it really causes the paint to just separate away from the tile and you get a bunch of bald spots. So unless the background color of the tile is something that you don't mind showing through here and there. So yeah, I'm just putting another ring out, putting more paint on the canvas, moving stuff around, trying to find something I like, which, you know, I gotta admit, at least probably 75% of the time, that's what happens. I will find something that inspires me and try to recreate it, either the color or the mood or the flow of it or something along those lines, and I'll fail terribly, but figure out how to create something else. So I really like these colors, so I'm figuring that I'm bound to be able to make something I like out of it when it's all said and done, and hopefully don't waste all of the paint in the process. So I'm just adding more paint, putting more rings on, trying to play with it, see what else I can figure out I can make it do. Looks like a little earth. Another ring. I know at this point I'm starting to wonder, am I going to be able to make this into anything cool? Blowing it around with the straw. Little torch there. Didn't really seem to do anything except maybe thicken the paint slightly on top. So like usual, when I don't really like the way a paint's going, I'll bust out my resin spreading tool and try moving it around that way and see what I get. Add some more phthalo blue there. I want to get some more of those dark negative spaces in there, pushing it around with this resin tool. I still just so love these effects. I know 5 years from now, probably half my paintings are going to have the resin tool lines in them because I just love the effect so much. So I'm looking at that spot there on the right, and I feel like it kind of looks a little bit like a rosebud. And so here in a second, I start playing with the idea of maybe that turning into a blue rose of some sort. I think that's coming up here in a second. So yeah, I take the little plastic dotting tool, and I'm kind of grabbing some of those lighter colors and seeing if I can kind of make the outline of petals for a rosebud here. And I was kind of seeing it, but kind of not particularly impressed with myself at the same time. Mess around with it a little more, you saw me grab some lighter paint there right off the plastic. And like, I can't quite make it look the way I'm envisioning, so I'm just gonna go mess it up some more. Which is my claim to fame too, messing things up. So right now I'm probably trying to figure out what else I can do to salvage this painting. More paint is probably the answer. So, you know, really, I've gotten to the point where sometimes I just do a dirty pour because I just, you know, want to see all those really cool effects and stuff. But you really have so little control over the dirty pour, which is, you know, great and therapeutic all in its own right as well. But I feel like you spend so much time mixing that paint and then you flip a cup and you're done. And sometimes I just don't want to be done with painting yet. So the dirty pours and the flip cups started becoming, I guess, boring to me, not in the actual beauty of the paintings themselves are always gorgeous, but the process, I didn't get to play with paint enough with just dirty pours and flip cups, and so that's why I always wind up going in and just pouring paint on it, pushing it around and moving it all over the place. So this winds up being how I left it. I think I got some really cool effects in there. I like the way that white looks like it's lighting up. Looks like it's lighting up the water and there's motion. So I decided to title this one Sea Sprites. Like a little, I don't know, sea ghosts or sea fairies flying through the water. I like it. I hope you all like it. Like I said, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, click that bell. And remember, the next video will be how to enter the drawing for the jellyfish tile and how I finish my resin tiles to get them ready for hanging. So if you are interested in that, I will see you next time.